This one. Photo.
Okay. Okay.
This one.
But is you guys on that?
I like that. I love you so much.
Okay. Okay. Everybody, good job. Yep. Okay. Where is picture? Okay, Jamal. You will be. When we say start, you have to stand over here close.
Yeah, to Ghana.
Where is picture Bonnie?
Hayyee daawwattoota keenya ammas kunoo kanan kaapitaal yookaan biildingii kanan irraa erga kaane as bakkitti argamnu akkuma argitan kaapitaal hiliidha waajjira koongiresii Ameerikaati jechuudha. Asitti ammoo hawaasni Oromootii fi hawaasni Itoophiyaatis bakka kanatti wajjin argamu. Akkasumas jechoonni Oromaaraa kan jedhuu fi kanneen HR 128 akka hojiirra oolu yaada isaanii deeggaruudhaaf akka hiriiraatti asitti argamu. Kana biratti ammoo ibsi miidiyaaleef ni kennamaa jedhamee eeggamaa jira. Egaa waldaaleen hawaasa Oromootii fi kanneen Itoophiyaadhaa bakka kanatti tokkummaan argamu haasaa taasisuudhaaf jiru. Akkasumas alaabaa yookaan faajjiiwwan eenyummaa isaanii ibsanis qabatanii jiranii. Egaa hawaasni hedduunis ammas dabalataan dhufaa jiranii. Egaa uummanni biyya keessatti rakkataa jiru akka rakkinni irraa dhaabbatuu fi mootummaan Itoophiyaa yookaan mootummaa wayyaaneedha rakkoolee geggeessaa jiru akka dhaabuu fi mootummaa Ameerikaatti labsii kana yookaan iyyannoo kana dhageessisuudhaaf kan hawaasonni kunniin asitti argamanii egaa tartiiba qabachaa jiru. Tarii dhaadannoolee garaagaraas dhageessisuuf ni malu. Egaa kan wajjin hordofnu ta'a qoqophaa jiranii Capital Hill Washington DC keessatti amma kan nuti argamnu. Egaa kanaan booda sa'aatii yookaan daqiiqaalee murtaa'een booda immoo ibsi miidiyaaleef akka kennamuudha odeeffannoon arganne. Egaa haala jiru seenaalee jiruu fi odeeffannoolee jiru kan nu wajjin hordofnu ta'a. Ibsi kennamaa kan jiru amma dubachuudhaaf kan jiru durataa waldaa hawaasa Oromoo Koloraadoo.
You know, today is the day that we will renew our commitment to advocate for justice, peace, and democracy for our people. So let's get ready to see what will happen in the U.S. floor and for the U.S. Congress. If they fail to pass, it would be a historical mistake. It would be against the core value of the United States. If they not pass the resolution, whatever happens, it will make us stronger in the comeback.
So, this is Jamal Saeed. Jamal and I were part of the delegation that went and negotiated with the majority leader on the terms of House Resolution 128. So he was a great partner. And Senna is also here. Senna was also a great partner in negotiating the terms of House Resolution 128 with the majority leader. So really, this is a historic moment for all of us. You know, Ethiopian Americans, we are empowered here if we use the democratic process. Even though we are thousands of miles away from Ethiopia, we can make a difference. So we can make a difference by being engaged in the democratic process. I'm an optimist. I believe that this resolution will pass. I believe that the members of Congress will see that this resolution will move Ethiopia on a path towards improvements in human rights, democracy, and also stability. And an Ethiopia that's stable, an Ethiopia that is democratic, and an Ethiopia that has respects human rights will be a better friend of America, and also be a better and also in the fight against terrorism. We believe that these members of Congress understand these things, and not only that, we believe that we've done a very good job of educating members of Congress about these issues, and that they will support these resolutions. So I don't think these members of Congress are going to fail. And one thing is, I am proud of all these people that are here to support these resolutions. As members of ADMAS, we have worked very hard the past several months getting co-sponsors, to support this resolution, House Resolution 128. So that's really what I wanted to say, and I want to thank all of our partners here that have supported this resolution. ADMAS, as well as the other members of this coalition that have supported this resolution, and all of our partners here that are here today to support this effort. So thank you.
I just want to say,
Oh, no, sure, I'll go. So my name is Sena. Honestly, let me just hurry up and speak before the congressman gets here. I know they don't have a lot of time, but I just wanted to say I'm really honored to be here today. And I hope we all know that this is going to be a new Ethiopia that we're going to be building, and Ethiopia that represents truly all of our children, not some of all of our others. And I am honored to work with many people. And over the past 2 years, I've changed and I've learned so much to the people that I was very ignorant about, just as assumed some of them. And I've also honored to get to know organizations such as Amnesty International, which guided us, Human Rights Watch, Freedom House, and all other caucus, TESE, my team, the Oromo community, and obviously the Amara community, you have talked about it. And I just want people to know that we do matter, actually. We did make a difference. We started this resolution from scratch. We pressured the Congress because they wanted to, but because we have a voting power, and we will plan to vote. We do plan to educate our younger brothers and sisters to make sure that Ethiopian leaders are accountable to their people, that they're not going to be taking $1 billion from the U.S., from our tax money, and go over there, displace millions of our people, subjugate and wipe out our people in millions and sell the lands for investment. That time have gone, and obviously congratulate Mr. Abiy as a new Prime Minister. But Oromos or Ethiopians are not asking for space change. We're asking for true reform. We want to change. We want our people to be brought back to their own land. We want genuine government by the people. That is what we are asking. We're not asking for cosmetic change that's going to make us happy for a second. I hope that they're going to be mistaken if that's the thing. And I just wanted to say thank you so much, and I'm just really honored to be working with the congressman like Kaufman, Smith, whom we initiated initially, and as well as majority leader himself, and all other organizations and my team covered. And yes.
Thank you. I'll pass to you. Thank you. My name is Tashiri Wako. I'm from the Oromo community of Minnesota. This is really a phenomenal day. A phenomenal day where we all stand together. We all from that, harmed and killed by that regime. We all has marched for HR 128 to really pass, and we have to work together like we have demonstrated for last 2 years, closely working with Turfet, closely working with Reverend from Colorado, closely working with ASFA, closely working with other community organizations from Atlanta, from Seattle, from all the way. We do have a power here. We do have a power. We have a journey. Our journey has brought us this far, and there is no reversal. Whatever the outcome would be at 5 o'clock today, our journey will continue. And on these occasions, we speak to the new Prime Minister, a charismatic Prime Minister who came to power. You have the chance to make change. You have the chance. People are waiting. There is no reason for a state of emergency to still continue. There is no need for people to be killed right now. There is no need for command posts to kill people wherever. There is no need for continued looting. Otherwise, the consequence will be again to square one. And we want you, we demand you to take action. Actually, House Resolution 128 helps Ethiopia toward the journey, toward democratic process. The content of it is helpful. There are some senators who are misguided or either blindsided by the benefit that they get over the last 20 years in aligning themselves to the dictators in that country. We will not be deterred by that. We will continue demanding our right. This is our right. Passing HR 128 is our right, and we will make it happen. Whatever the outcome today, it will continue to really mobilize ourselves, work us together. Remember, Oromo and Amara people have lived together for many years, brothers and sisters. Yes. Yep. And that cannot be used for political purpose. We need to stop it. We need to stop what the TPLF has done for many years. This is also a message for Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed and also Deputy Prime Minister Dammaka Mokonnin. This is the time for you to make historic change for our people. It's only the Amharas and the Oromos who are getting killed in numbers, who are getting looted in numbers. Why all this while you are still in power? This is for you the chance to make a change. HR 128 helps you toward that. I hope you reconsider and you adapt what is in the resolution as you make change in the country. And with that, I yield to...
Hi. My name is Andrea Barron. I'm the Advocacy Manager from TASC, the Torture, Abolition, and Survivor Support Coalition. We have over 30 or 40 survivors of torture from Ethiopia mingled among you. A lot of them are afraid to come forward because if someone sees their face, something could happen to their family. We have one man, the Ethiopian government security agents, tried to run over, he's here somewhere, tried to run over his wife. The only reason he knows it was the Ethiopian security agent is because the third time, there was no license plate on his car. So we hope there'll be a day when we don't see torture survivors coming in every single day into our office from Ethiopia. That is when we know there will be a change.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The media to pass this way.
No, it's gonna be just taking a picture.
I wish I put this here. Camera. It's not it now.
So the press conference will be starting here shortly.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the press conference is going to be starting in a couple minutes. If we can please have some space in between the podium and the press area.
Let's have the space. Let's have space.
I'll kind of just move back a few steps. So it's going to have to be further back. Okay.
Move back.
Everyone's going to have to move further back. I'll let you know kind of where you can start.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, you'll have to. You guys will have to. Yeah.
Everyone's gonna have to keep sliding back. Just further back. This is where the normal press setup is further back.
Move it back.
Hey, everyone, yes. We're going to have to move a little bit further back, a few steps back, kind of square with
Just three questions. So we have to distribute that. Three questions.
ከዛም በኋላ ያለውን በውጭ ከማውራት ስለሚወስድ ያው ነው እየተዘጋጀ ነው አሁን
ግርማ ነመላላዶ ነመይዳዱ
Patrick, can you do me a favor?
Okay. Okay. Any logos on here because
Logos are not allowed. Okay, that's fine.
Can everybody step back a little so we can have a little more room?
I'll show you something. See, we really are friends. He didn't really
okay, 3 people. 1,
We really are. And I apologize.
2, 3. So we have a sign already. 1, 2, 3.
No, I know.
Okay. All right. So is everybody okay?
Yep.
Yeah. Everybody's going to have to move.
Stay there.
Okay.
Wait, that's my Leon's. This is Terry.
How are you doing?
He's going to be coming in our walking meeting.
Yes.
He's the one that made it possible.
All right.
We understand. Thank you. Good to see you.
Okay. You all can move just a little bit further back. All right, everyone. We're calling this press meeting to order. We're gonna start this off with Ted Turfy, who will be kind of. There you go. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming today. Today, indeed, is a historical moment for all Ethiopian Americans and Ethiopians as well. Today, Congress is going to have an opportunity to vote on House Resolution 128, a resolution that was introduced by Congressman Chris Smith here. Congressman Chris Smith is someone who has been championing human rights and democracy and stability for Ethiopia because he believes that a stable Ethiopia, a democratic Ethiopia, an Ethiopia that values human rights would be a good friend to America. And we are also here joined by Congressman Kaufman, who has, put the resources of his whole staff behind this resolution. Really, we have every time we have faced a hurdle, Congressman Kaufman has stepped in to make sure that we overcome that hurdle to get to the point where we have an opportunity to vote for House Resolution 128. So I'm going to, moderate this press conference. We're going to make it go pretty fast, and then so we can have time to go in there to vote. Before we start, one thing is I want to thank all the organizations who have contributed to making sure that we get to the point that we have 108 co-sponsors and we have members of Congress that are going to pass this resolution. So I want to name out these these organizations. From the International Human Rights Groups, we have Torture Abolition Survivor Support Coalition, or TASC, Amnesty International USA, Human Rights Watch, and Freedom House. From the Diaspora Constituent-Based Groups, Amara Association of America, which I represent, Oromo Advocacy Alliance, Coalition of Oromos for Human Rights and Democracy, Ethiopian American Civic Council with Ethiopian Advocacy Network, Oromo Community of Denver, ADMAS, which is a coalition of all Amara organizations in North America, Ethiopian Human Rights Project, and Ogden Voice for Peace. And Oromo Community of Minnesota. Of course, yeah, I apologize. So I want to thank all these organizations for contributing to get House Resolution 128 to where it is. Without further ado, I would like to bring Congressman Chris Smith, who has held so many hearings on Ethiopia, who has introduced more bills, legislation on Ethiopia than any other member of Congress. So, Congressman Smith.
Our hero.
First of all, let me thank you, Ted, and so many Ethiopian American leaders who have made today possible to really get us to the point where Congress will go on record with both a debate and a vote on human rights, democracy, rule of law in Ethiopia. Regrettably, we have seen for many years Human rights have been trashed by the government. They've done it in a way that has led to imprisonment, torture, and of course death. Many in the European Union, many in the United States, many even in Africa looked askance as all of this has happened, citing the fact that Ethiopia is a very important strategic partner when it comes to the war on terrorism. But frankly, if you mistreat, abuse the human rights of your own people, that is the most important issue of all. And we are today going to have a vote. My hope is that it will go favorably on this. We've had Mike Kaufman, who has been an outstanding leader on Ethiopian human rights. Thank you. I mean, Mike has really been, and I think you're right, his entire staff, everybody has been mobilized to make sure that this day would happen and that it happened successfully. So I want to thank Mike for what a great friend of Ethiopia you have in Mike Kaufman. Let me also just make a quick point that if you look at what we're asking for, we're asking that the state of emergency be lifted immediately.
Yes.
We know that our own embassy on February 18th made that request. It said it's counterproductive for Ethiopia to continue this state of emergency because it allows all kinds of abuse to occur under the guise of quelling dissidents as well as trying to maintain order. What does that mean? People get beaten. People get thrown into prison. We call for the repeal or a serious amending of proclamations like the Anti-Terrorism Proclamation, as well as the Charities and Societies Proclamation. You know, we found all over the world, and I chair the Human Rights Committee, been in Congress for 38 years, that very often these nice-sounding proclamations, laws, decrees are promulgated, and frankly, anybody who then says, I disagree with the government, can be construed to be a terrorist or some other kind of negative thing will befall them. We're asking that the killing of protesters stop immediately, that people be released from prison. Yes, there have been some prison releases. Some of those have been rearrested. Back in prison.
That's the reality.
And we have seen that happen in other places around the world. You know, the big fanfare when they are released, not so big fanfare when they're rearrested. And everybody who's been released run the risk of being rearrested again. So that's a huge sword of Damocles that hangs over their heads. Allow the UN rapporteur to come in and have unfettered access to everywhere, anyone, anytime in Ethiopia. Complete transparency, and the resolution calls for that. Engage with citizens about development strategies. It calls on our own U.S. Department of State and USAID, among other things, to work in a cooperative way on issues of importance for malaria and all these other important issues that we have been partners on, but often with U.S. support and funding, but also hold accountable those who have committed atrocities and use the Magnitsky Act. I was the House sponsor of that legislation that holds individuals responsible when they have committed gross human rights abuses. This is a bipartisan bill. Ted, in the last hour or so, we picked up additional co-sponsors. We think we're at 118 now. So I think that's your presence, that's your work. And I thank you. And now I'd like to turn it over to Mike Kaufman, who has been, like I said, a tremendous, tremendous leader.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Chris Smith, for the extraordinary leadership you have on the Foreign Affairs Committee. And all of us must pray in our own way today for the passage of this resolution, because we know that the Ethiopian government is pulling out all the stops to defeat this. And so today the United States House of Representatives will have an opportunity to vote on House Resolution 128, supporting respect for human rights and encouraging inclusive governance in Ethiopia. House Resolution 128 calls upon the government of Ethiopia to take clear and decisive steps towards becoming more inclusive, more democratic, and more respectful of basic human rights of all its people. There will be those who will argue today that the resolution is counterproductive in that the government of Ethiopia has been a strong and dependable ally of the United States.
Yes.
The opponents will say that the national security interests of the United States justifies our support for this government, and therefore we must ignore the cries of the Ethiopian people who are suffering under this oppressive government. The opponents fear that the Ethiopian government will end its cooperation with the United States in the war against terrorism if we publicly criticize our human rights record by passing this resolution. But I say to them, far too long, the United States has looked the other way, as the Ethiopian government has so often used the weapons that we have provided for them, not to fight terrorism, but to terrorize its own people. For far too long, the United States has looked the other way as peaceful protesters were met with violence from heavily armed Ethiopian security forces. And for far too long, the United States has looked the other way as journalists, political opposition leaders, and anyone who dared question this government were rounded up and shipped off to detention camps. The U.S.-backed government in Ethiopia has lost its legitimacy to govern and rules by brute force and intimidation. To the opponents of House Resolution 128, the passage of this resolution to them will mark a setback for the relationship between the United States and Ethiopia. But it is my hope that the passage of House Resolution 128, supporting respect for human rights and encouraging inclusive governance in Ethiopia, will mark a new beginning in the history of the U.S.-Ethiopian relationship, where the United States will never again have to look the other way, and Ethiopia will realize its full potential by embracing all of its citizens and becoming the great nation that it has always been destined to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Questions?
All right, and Ted, and then Ted.
I just want to say before.
Questions for them before.
Sorry.
Sena. Gavi.
They're going to take the questions first.
Can we do questions, Anna?
Yeah.
Okay, after she makes
3 questions.
Okay, in a minute. We just,
I won't make it long. Okay. Obviously, I want to thank Congressman Smith from the very first time, and we spoke with Simpkins not here, and he really understood, and you have dealt with this regime for over a decade. So when we talked about it, you knew exactly what's going on. And for the past 2.5 years, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Mr. Kaufman. I came to your state, but unfortunately I didn't. But what you have done is amazing. You spoke more than us, and I'm always indebted. I thank you so much, and I want to thank, of course, everybody else, the organization Ted mentioned earlier. And my name is Sena, and I represent Cohort Coalition for Oromo for Human Rights and Democracy. So tonight is a big, this afternoon is a big day for us. It is about people triumphing over dictator, corrupt, and powerful leader. It is truly humbling to be here in this moment with you. I wanted to thank everybody who have worked on this thing from the beginning until very last Congressman leadership, Majority Leader McCarthy. Tonight, I also wanted to say hi and thank you to my people, particularly the Oromo people from east and west and south and every part of Oromia and Ethiopian people. It is a historic moment for whole Ethiopian, particularly for Oromo. For over a century, your voice was silent, your presence was absent, unheard, unseen, and invisible to humanity. So tonight we raised from that generation. I speak for you, I speak for humanity, because for too long you are forgotten. We are hoping to build a new Ethiopia, Ethiopia that represents every child over kids, not just some over others, not just few culture over different one, but Ethiopia that truly belongs to all of us, including the Oromos, which makes nearly half of the population. In fact, this resolution, to be honest with you, is a basic thing we're asking for, and I don't understand anyone that will stand behind it. I don't understand any senator or any representative that can say, I don't respect human rights. Maybe apparently the human right of certain people, maybe certain people in Africa, certain people in Ethiopia, are maybe it's not valuable or valued equally. And that's how I see it. If it was his right, I'm sure he would not say anything different. So I will not take long. I know everybody wants to say something. You guys have a question. I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm really honored to be here and speak with you guys. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Andrea.
Everyone, I want to introduce Andrea real quick. Andrea is the director of task.
Not director.
Oh, I'm sorry, not the program manager.
My boss is over there. Yeah, so as I said before, I'm from TASC, the Torture, Abolition, and Survivor Support Coalition, and we represent torture survivors from all over the world, about 300 a year, but over 70% come from Ethiopia, and that is the reason why we're so active on this resolution. As I said before, we have over 30, maybe 40 survivors of torture, men and women, Oromo, Amhara, Gurage, and maybe some other nationalities, scattered among you. And they've been horrible, horrible things have happened to them. We have women among here, there are women who have been raped, there are men who have been embarrassed because of people in their family, because members of their family were involved in peaceful opposition parties. Horrible things, unspeakable atrocities have been committed against them. And that is why they came to the United States and they're applying for asylum. So I always say we'll know when torture stops in Ethiopia, when we don't keep having more and more survivors every month. We have survivors every week who come in, who tell us that they were tortured by security agents. In official prisons, in secret prisons, people have been seized on the street by security agents. As I mentioned before, we had one of our survivors, they tried to run over his wife with a car just because he decided to speak against and criticize the government. And so what we hope is that this resolution will begin to force the Ethiopian government to stop torture, to stop killing unarmed protesters, when people can stand up and say, I criticize this government and nothing will happen to them. That's when we will know that something changed.
Yes.
Thank you. Mesfin.
Brief.
All right.
No.
I just want to say something very important. First, it's better to give credit for people who have done something. People who sacrifice a lot.
Yes.
We have lost 5,000 from Oromia alone. We have lost 5,000 in just last 3 years. We have lost brave. That is the reason why this resolution is possible. We are energized, by their sacrifice.
Yes.
Today, whatever happened in the United States Congress floor, it will be a history for us.
Yes.
This will energize us, and this will make us energy. We will renew our commitment to fight for justice, democracy, and peace for our people. We will build new Ethiopia, not the old status quo. The Ethiopia everyone belongs to, everyone will be proud. Not the Ethiopia that one culture, one language is buried, and then we're going to be building a new future for our generations and for our kids. Today, we will look forward the United States Congress passing this resolution, HR 128, and we will move forward from there on. Thank you.
And then we're gonna. Can we go to questions? Last one.
Mesfin here from the Ethiopian American community. After that, we're going to be going into questions. And then only 3 questions, please.
Yep.
Go ahead, Mesfin.
Get ready.
Yeah. My name is
Number one,
number
number two, number
Ethiopian American community. I have been working with Congressman Christmas the last 17 years. We started, legislation after legislation. He wasn't, completely behind. He always up front. He helped us so much. We indebted to him. We are really. He is the man, and he have been working so hard. His staff, including his staff, and Gregory Simpkins, which he's worked with us, but he's no longer with us. He's with us. He worked with USAID. And Ethiopian American community, you are great. You came all the way far this way. We push it hard, and we ask the U.S. Congress do the right thing tonight.
Yes.
Do the right thing. So stop the killing in Ethiopia, the harassment, journalists being killed, being thrown in jail. This resolution will help all that, and I hope, God's sake, they can pass this resolution. And they should really take a look at it. United States, great country, for Ethiopia, like Ethiopia, as a friend, close friend of Ethiopia for a long time, American. So please do the right thing tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have one member of the media.
The media. Go. Okay. Then number two. Number three.
First of all, I'm very grateful.
Which
You started from the scratch. I'm from Oromo Media Network. So the reason I'm here for is we are at Oromo. I've been seeing people dying every day. I've been seeing people. We hide a lot of things. We don't expose. If we expose that, Ethiopia is not going to exist. I'm telling you, they are killing our people every day. They are taking people and disappear. A lot of disappearances are happening. So what I was trying to say is, if this resolution is not going to pass, what are we supposed to do? The people are waiting for this. If this is not going to pass, people are going to be engulfed and maybe moving to, another solution. So I heard this morning, Senator from Oklahoma, he's opposing this resolution, and we know he has a daughter who is adopted from Ethiopia. He is very close friend of Ethiopian government for the last 27 years. He's been going there and come back here. We don't have to worry about why he's going there. But what we are trying to say is this is not even American problem. This is Ethiopians' problem. Why is he opposing this resolution? And what are we supposed to do after this? Thank you.
Wait. Two more questions.
I talked to Senator Imhoff over the weekend. We disagree. His concern, he believes strongly in the government of Ethiopia. He never raised an issue concern to me about the human rights of the Ethiopian people that are being oppressed by this government. He believes that this resolution is counterproductive to the relationship of the United States with the government of Ethiopia and the cooperation of that government to the war on terror.
I would just add to that, thank you, Mike, that real friends don't let friends commit human rights abuses. In 2005, Greg Simpians and I, who's now at USAID, was our chief of staff of the African subcommittee. We traveled, we met with President Melis, and that's after an egregiously flawed election, which was stolen. People were being gunned down in the street. People were arrested. There was a massive amount of torture upon those individuals, those who weren't killed. And that was the time when I first introduced a bill, for want of a better word, the Ethiopia Human Rights Act. And the idea was, if we don't speak out as the United States Congress, and that includes the White House as the executive branch, who will? We are the nation of all nationalities, all ethnicities. Yes. Everybody is here. So we have I think, a special platform to speak out. You're all here. So many of you are Ethiopian Americans, and glad to have you. Glad that I'm here. A few generations ago, 150 years ago, from Ireland. But I say that, we have a unique position as the United States of America to speak about human rights where they're abused anywhere in the world. Shame on us if we don't use that opportunity to help people who are being tortured, murdered, raped, and all the other horrible abuses that are visited upon those who disagree with the government. We raised it with Melis. We've raised it ever since. And this resolution, and again, Mike's been a great partner on this, is an opportunity to say, this is the end. We want the relationship to flourish, but it needs to flourish on a bedrock of respect for human rights. And, where there's problems, let it be adjudicated in a real court. Let it be adjudicated in a way that is non-violent. And don't use these sweeping emergency powers to round up people and disappear them, or to kill them, or to abuse them in any other way. So we're going to keep that pressure up. After this bill, we're looking at more hearings. We're looking, and remember, this calls for a full evaluation by the U.S. Department of State and USAID. We do have democracy programs. We have a lot of other things that could be helpful. It's all about an inclusive government, and it's all about respect for fundamental human rights.
Number two. Okay. I am from Amhara Press, and thank you, Congressman Smith and Congressman Foreman, for effort you put towards H.R. 128. And I'm hopeful the U.S. Congress will vote in favor of it. So my question is, how do we ensure the recommendations on H.R. 128 are fully implemented? Thank you.
Well, again, there are multiple reinforcing provisions, action items in the resolution. It'll be up to us to ensure that there is oversight. You know, one of the jobs of Congress is to do oversight, and we will ask that the administration faithfully implement this initiative, and I do believe that they will. And this becomes a blueprint for action. And then Mike and I and other members, bipartisan, will look to make sure that that this and other concerns are all addressed.
This resolution is only the first step.
Yeah.
It is a statement by the government of the United States, by the United States House of Representatives, that condemns the Ethiopian government for human rights abuses. But if we don't get beyond this first step, we cannot take the next step.
Okay, one more question. Right here. Thank you.
Oh, I gave it to the
Congressman Smith, it was my chance, right? So how this is okay, we'll take them both together. This is part 1 and part 2. Okay, go ahead. Part 1. Congressman, how hopeful are you that this resolution will pass, considering the fact that Senator Jim is pushing for the rejection of this resolution, and in the event that this will be rejected, what would be the next step? Thank you. Okay, hold on. And part 2?
Yeah, part 2.
We want to thank you first. Chris, I want to thank you, and all my people in Ethiopia thank you. Secondly, Mr. Einhoff and the rest who give a destructive answer should be silenced by you. We cannot say to them anything because I am not an American. You have to tell your people to be sensible. We want good governance, not American governance. Our own governance. Democracy by the people, for the people, and no discrimination between Oromos, Amaras, etc. There are a lot to be desired as it is now being expounded. Please help those people who are for the people, not against the people. And we thank you. I thoroughly thank you. And we should also establish some kind of good government and morally right government with a law above everybody else.
Thank you.
Let me first point out that under the process that we're following, it will take 2/3 vote in the House for this to pass. I am confident that we will have those votes. I would be shocked, frankly, and dismayed if those votes weren't there, because members of both parties do believe in fundamental human rights, and frankly, we do have 118 co-sponsors, so that is a significant bipartisan number of people who have put their name on the bill. So I think, and again, that's, I think, attributable to your great work, and I thank you for it. If it were not to pass, undeterred, we come right back.
Yes.
There are other ways to bring it up a resolution with a simple majority. It would take a rule to do it. And we have the commitment, I know, of our majority leader, Kevin McCarthy. As many of you met in his office with Mike and I and others, and he is committed to the human rights of the people of Ethiopia. In terms of, this has to become, as Mike said, this is the beginning. We've got to ratchet up the focus, the scrutiny, the benign pressure to say to the Ethiopian government, we really are for Ethiopia and its people, but all the people. And again, it is a surface appeal argument to suggest, and a misguided argument, that somehow the cooperation on the war on terror and peacekeeping in Africa cannot be continued because we're doing this. That is absurd. Take care and protect your own people while you're fighting outside forces with terrorism.
Can I ask a question?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Okay,
we're gonna stay.
You have to go. Wait.
Just 1 second, please. 1 second.
Go ahead.
One more question.
Direct them to the visitors center, because the floor vote will start around 5:15.
Okay.
Debate 5:30.
Can we announce that? Can we announce?
Yeah. And then Mesfin has
Sir.
Mesfin has an announcement.
Okay. Go.
Yeah, after this, after the vote, everybody invited on room H. C8. CH, room CH in the Capitol.
No,
H8.
C8.
C8.
Like
that's HC8, right?
Yeah.
HC8.
HC8.
Everyone, please come there. Invited.
HC8.
We are honoring. You'll be surprised. And come on.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, please stay. Don't go.
Thank you.
HC. HC. What's the number?
HC8.
HC8.
Thank you so much. We're gonna say in Oromo and Amharic. Come on. Hey, stay the way you are.
Hayyega daawwattoota keenya ibsii miidiyaaleef kennamee jira. Seneetar bakka bu'aa mana maree koongireesii Chris Smithii fi akkasumas Mike Hoffman isaan lamaanitu haasaa taasisee kana irratti ammoo gaaffileen garaagaraatis dhiyaatanii jiru. Gaaffileen akka mata dureetti dhiyaatan labsiin HR 28 kun yoo dabarre ta'e tarkaanfiin itti aanu maali? Uummannis dhumaa jira ammas ajjechaan dhaabbachaa jiru. Yoo dabarree tarkaanfii fudhatamu maali kan jedhuufis kanneen biroos gaafatamanii jiru. Egaa kana irratti kan deebisan tarkaanfiin kun yookaan labsiin kun darbuu dhabees taanaan irra deebinee labsii kana jechuudhaan ni dabarsinaa kan jedhudha kan isaan ibsan. Kana jechuun ammoo labsii kana yookaan sagaleen kan itti kennamuudhaaf eeggamaa jiru amma akka Washington DC'tti sa'aatii 4:3 sa'a 5 walakkaa irratti sagaleen ni kennamu ni darbamoo ni kufa kan jedhamu kan walii eegnu ta'a. Haa ta'utu ammoo hawaasni Oromootii fi hawaasni Amaaraa bakka kana argamee tokkummaadhaan gaafachaa jiru. Egaa sa'a 5 walakkaa irratti akka sagaleen kennamuudha kan eeggamaa jiru. Achiin dura ammoo Seneetarri Oklahoma Senator James Namoo sagalee yookaan akka sagaleen kun hin dabarreef jecha egaa xalayaa barreessanii koongiressootaa fi seneetoroota Ameerikaatti galchaa jiru. Kanaaf ammoo akka hin dabarree fi kan dubbatan yoo ta'u hawaasni kunniin ammoo dhiibbaa taasisaa jira. Seneetar Mike Hoffmanii fi Chris Smith irratti hojjechaa jiranii egaa yoo walii galatti bakka bu'oonni mana maree koongireesii Ameerikaa 108 sagalee kana deeggaranii jiru. Sagaleen kennamuudhaaf ammoo sa'a 1 fi daqiiqaa 30 booda akka irraa addaan ba'uudha. Egaa itti aansee kan iyyatan ta'uu asumaan hubachiisanii jiru. Kana irratti immoo hagammaatti haasaa taasifamee hawaasni Oromoo akkamitti arga kan jiru mee girmaatti maal argitaa hagammaatti haasaa taasifamee fi wanti jedhamee akkasumas tarkaanfiin itti aanu maali?
wanni hagamma haasame wanna guddaadha warri wanna kana jalqabarraa deeggaran House Representative Steve Chris kunniin hundinuu haala gaariidhaan hagammaatu abdii guddaa qabanii wanti kun dabruudhaaf harka 65 qofa barbaadanii harka 65 wanni kun akka argamu namni hundi akka support godhu itti amannaa haaluma kanaani ummanni keenya tasgabbaa'ee nullee abdii guddaa qabna wanni kun hin dhaabatu wanni kun har'allee yoo kufe hin dhaabatu ummanni keenya nama 20 asin dura hidhamee hidhaa keessa jira namni 10 state of emergency kana keessa hidhamee hidhatti dabalamee jira namni keenya hagar'aatu ajjeefamaa jira hin dhaabnu wanni kun nu eenyuuf hundalannu dhugaa irratti hundoofnee dhugaadhaaf dalanna.
Kanatti aansee ammoo amma kan itti deemamuuf ta'u sa'aatii tokko walakkaan boodatti sagaleetu dhageessifama. Sagaleen duratti ammoo Seneetar James namni jedhaman Oklahomaadha dura dhaabbachuudhaaf xalayaa barreessanii jiru. Garuu xalayaa kanas akka arganii bakka bu'oonni mana maree koongireesii amma lamaan kunniin dubbatanii jiranii. Ammoo yoo sagaleen kunis kan hin dabarre ta'e deebinee iyyachuudhaan irratti dalagnaa jirraa jedha. Kana jechuun yeroo ammaa kana dhageettiin uummata Oromoo rakkoon uummata Oromoo sadarkaa kana gahuun isaa hoo akkamitti ilaalamaa kun ammoo caalmatti akka kanaa ol dalagamuuf maaltu hojjechamuu qaba?
Sagaleen uummata Oromoo asiin dura ukkaamamee hammam ture ni beeknan hundinuu sagaleen uummata keenyaa achii ka'ee bakka dhugeenyu sanii ka'ee state of bakka mana marii mootummaa Ameerikaa keessatti itti falmaa jirra. Nuti ijoollee durii sanii miti Oromoo durii sanii miti turree maraa beenna yoo achitti kijiban asitti dhageenya. Homa teknoolojii illee baramee jira amma irraa jalqabee wanna achitti ta'u har'a hin dhageenya. Amma irraa jalqabee wanna as keessatti raawwatamuu jiru isaanis dhagahuu malan. Haa dhagahanii barbaanne nu Dr. Abiyyi irraa hajaawituu hin qabnu yookaan mootummaa Itoophiyaa irraa hajaa hin qabnu mootummaan kun mootummaa uummataan filamee miti mootummaa dharaati mootummaa sagalee hannaatiin bakka kana gahe. Kanaafuu mootummaa dhugaa, mootummaan uummataa, mootummaa dimokiraataa, mootummaa Itoophiyaa hundaaf qixa yaadu, Itoophiyaa hundaaf dubbatu barbaanna. Mootummaa akkasii akka dhaabatu barbaanna. Nu ammoo mirga qabna biyya kana keessatti. Lammii biyya kanaa ta'e. Lammii biyya kanaa ta'e namoota an filadhe haala gaariidhaan namoota an filadhe wanna an barbaadu akkanaa dubbatu barbaada. Yoo kanaan dubbannee maaf dubbachuu dhabde? Aadaa Oromootii miti, aadaa Ameerikaatii miti nama ajjeesu.
Sittin deebi'ee al tokko girmaadhiifamaa mee Khalid ati gama keetiin maal jetta haga ammaatti ibsaa miidiyaaf kenname kanarratti wanni ati argite maali?
Yaa fayyaada wanni gamma asitti agarree uummanni sabaaf sablammiin bakka kanatti mul'atee agartan waan fakkaataa jiru. Nuti akka Oromootti dhugaa uummata xiqqaadhaan bakka kana jirra gidee tokko nama qaanfachiisa. Silaa uummanni Oromootis akkuma nama biraatti jarri kun heddummaatanii bakka kanatti mul'atanii nuti humna xiqqaadhaan bakka kana mul'achuun nurraan tolu yaa ilmaan Oromoo fuulduraaf illee ta'u heddummaatanii bakka kana dhuftinee akka uummata biraatti akka falmannu abdiin qaba. Amma sa'a takkaa booda yoo rabbi jee wanna kana keessatti ni injifanna rabbiin fiixan waa baasu bakka fagoo jirtanis du'aayi nu godha bakka biyya keessa jirtanii warri dhageessanis qabsoon Oromoo ni jalqabamte malee qabsoon Oromoo hin dhumamne qabsoon Oromoo fuulduratti ni deemti abbaan Oromummaa biyyaa abbaan Oromoo abbaa biyyaa ni ta'a uummata biyya san keessatti jiru cufaaf uummanni Oromoo agarsiisee jira yeroo dheertuu kanaan gizee uummata Oromoo ajjeesan sabaaf sablammii uummata biyya san bulchullee osoo uummanni Oromoo hin tuyne karaa nagayaatiin wajji jiraachuu keenya agarsiifnee jirra fuulduraafis uummanni Oromoo kana caalaa itti uffama malee namoota sabaaf sablammii irratti rakkina akka fidde agarsiisafee jira agarree jirra soo galatoomaa fayyaadayaa bakka kana jirra sabuma takka hafeeti rabbi haradda.
Galatoomee atis egaa daawwattoota keenya odeeffannoolee amma arganneen imbaasiin Itoophiyaas Ameerikaa argamu akka seneetii HR 128 kun hin dabarreef jecha dhiibbaa adda addaa keessisaa akka jirudha odeeffannoon arganne. Kana irrattoo waldaaleen hawaasa Oromoo maal jedhu kan jedhuu fi namoota dudubbisaa jira. Kana keessaa immoo bal'inaan kan irratti dalagaa jiru waldaa hawaasa Oromoo Koloraadoo Denver durataan as jira. Jamaal Said maal jedha laata? Jamaal mee har'a haasaa kana irratti maal argitaa maal jettaati maaltu sitti dhagamaa hin darbamu hin darbamu laata maarraa gida kana irratti?
Darbees darbuu baadhees nuuf hadha guyyaa seena qabeessa darbus jabaannee sadarkaa itti aanu qeenee dalagna yoon darbines waan kana caalaa irra jabaa fiduu irratti qabsoo Oromootiif waan ta'a gartee uummanni keenya kan dhumate qeerroon uummanni keenya kan manadhaa jiru haamilee nuu kenne we are empowered by them kanaaf ufafoo deemna injifannoon keenya injifannoon ka uummata Oromooti kuni ka gartee haamilee keenya waan haamilee keenya ol kaasu ka gartee aadii keenya itti haaromsinee sagalee uummata keenyaa ta'uuf daraan waan qara dalanne caalaa dalaguuf guyyaa itti aadii keenya mataa mataan fi haaromsinu ni moona.
Jamaal caarrama kana wal qabatee amma waan kun HR 128 akka hojiirra oolu akka dhiibamee sadarkaa guddaa irra warra taasisan keessaa tokko bakka bu'aa mana maree koongirees Maayik Koofmaan kan kutaa bulchiinsa Koloraadoota jechuudha kama ati keessa jirtu wajjin irratti hojjete jechuudha akkasumas itti dabalee ammoo kan Niiw Jeersiidha Chris Smith namoonni kun lamaan dhimma Oromoo kana akka ufiitti fudhatanii halkanii guyyaa irra hojjetanii sadarkaa kanaan ga'anii jiru. Isaan akkamitti galateeffata ati gama keetiin?
Galanni keenya kabajamoo bakka bu'aa uummata mana maree Ameerikaa Maayik Koofmaanii fi akkasumas Chris Smithiif galanni keenya hedduu guddaadha. Akkasumas hawaasota Oromoo garaagaraa ka wajjin waan kana irratti dalanneef galanni keenya hedduu guddaadha. Akkasumas hariiroon isaan hawaasa keenya waliin qaban hedduu cimaadha wajjin dalaguuf wajjin dalaguuf karoora qabna akkasumas yoo resolutionin kunis tare waan itti aanu maal dalanna jedhuuf kamsaa dhufana walgahii isa wajjin qabna akka koree hawaasaatitti kanaaf
hedduu galanni kenna hedduu saaf.
Galatoomii Jamaal egaa kaafee egaa daawwattoota keenyaa sa'aatii tokkoo fi yoo xiqqaate daqiiqaa 20 keessatti gara galmaatti seennee sagaleen inni darbamu sagaleen itti kennamuudhaaf egaa akka walumaan hordofnu ta'a hagammaatti nu daawwachuu keessaniif hedduu galatoomaa ulfaadha egaa sa'a tokkoo fi daqiiqaa 20 booda haala arganneen walitti deebinee kallattiidhaan sagaleen isaa darbamu dabarree kan jiru HR 128 kan waliin hordofnu ta'a turtii gaarii.